Hello again, it's Mr. RG Stuff here. Now I'm back with the HMV 162 gramophone that I've been restoring recently. Now this is the second HMV 162 that I've purchased. I appear to have two of them at the minute. But I just wanted to talk about what I've done with it and also talk about the differences between the two models, or the two examples of the 162 model that I have. I've done quite a lot of cleaning and fixing of things. So basically all the metalwork has now been polished up. So it's all nice and shiny. I've also spent quite a bit of time on the back hinge. It was loose, so I basically plugged the holes and re-drilled them, and it's now much better. And I also had to completely re-glue the back of it down as well, as it was loose, and that was part of the problem. So it looked like the hinge was flexing, but it was actually the whole back of the cabinet. Now, talking about the differences between the two machines, first of all, I'll start with the decal at the back there. So this is actually the wrong decal for a 162. This is a sort of earlier, sort of up to sort of like the mid 1920s decal, whereas this machine dates from probably no earlier than 1926. I estimate something like 1927. So it's rather odd that it's got this this old decal on. The other one has a more modern decal. There are lots of other little differences. I mean, the used needle pot there is slightly different. The location of this transfer down here is in a different position. The location of the motorboard knob there is in a slightly different position. The moulding around the edge, so all this moulding around the edge here, this is all, let's get a good picture, this is all just different. It's a different moulding from the moulding on the other one. The arm that holds the lid up is actually the same arm, but it's located in a different position. It's this one's completely vertical, and so it holds the lid much higher up than on the other one. And there are other differences with the case as well. I mean, just moving down to the doors. So these are the doors that close over the record cabinet. Now, there's nothing on top of these. There are no holders or ball bearings or anything. Whereas on the other one, the sort of door closing bits are on top. Whereas on this one, you can see quite clearly that they're actually down there. So this machine has them on the bottom, whereas the other machine has them on the top. And the doors themselves, I mean, the doors here are completely squared off, whereas on the other machine they're at an angle. The actual MB is at a slight angle. So there are lots of little differences. I mean, there are, even the height of the machine appears to be different. I mean, I haven't quite figured out how it differs, but this one is definitely a little bit taller, maybe as much as a centimetre up to, you know, the top here. Certainly some of it is this space here. This bit here is bigger on this machine than it is on the other machine. And on the actual lid of the machine as well, this machine has an extra sort of rib here compared to the other one. So the lid is taller in its own right, I believe. So the whole machine is actually fractionally taller than the other machine. So why might this be? Well, it's clear the machines were made by different hands, and I've always assumed they were made at different times, and this machine isn't quite as refined as the other machine, so on the face of it, this would appear to be an earlier model or an earlier example. However, it's been suggested on the Talking Machine forum that actually this machine originates from India. Now, the reason for that, or the reason given for that, is that there's another difference which I haven't talked about, which is the wood. Now, my first HMV 162 is clearly made of mahogany. Now this one, because it wasn't mahogany, I assumed was made of oak. However, it doesn't actually appear to be oak, and the only other wood that it could sensibly be made out of is teak. And teak was a local hardwood, or is a local hardwood, that HMV in India were using to make the cabinets. And the way it worked was that they would actually send all the metal work out to India for various gramophones, and these were kitted up. I believe they were called equipments. And the local craftsmen would then make the cases to have all the components fitted inside. So HMV didn't ship out whole machines, or didn't always ship out whole machines. They shipped out just the bits needed to make the machines. And this machine could conceivably be made by local craftsmen in India, which would explain the numerous little differences in the woodwork between this one and the other one. And you can just imagine, you know, getting a set of plans and then getting people to build a machine from the plans and then just fitting in the metal components. Lots of little things would be different, even things like, you know, the angle that this arm was fitted at. I mean, unless it was specified on the plan how to attach it, then this is a perfectly fine way of doing it. But it's just different from the way that they were fitted in the factory in the UK. Now, because this actually has an old logo on it, this might actually indicate that this was sent out to India as part of the sort of surplus, or dare I say obsolete stuff that HMV did send out to the colonies as they were at the time. So apparently India got lots of bits and pieces, obsolete machines, obsolete parts, and these appeared on machines later than they should have done. So this machine shouldn't be any earlier than sort of 1926. And indeed it might be actually later than the other machine, even though it has parts like the logo, and I believe the needle, the used needle tin down there, looks to be an earlier pattern than the one on the other machine. So yeah, so it would explain quite a lot of this machine was actually made in India. Obviously, it's impossible to know for sure. This machine has no serial numbers on it whatsoever. There should be a serial number down underneath the lock. However, the plaque is completely blank. There should also, or at least on the other one, there is a serial number on the back of the tone arm. But this one has absolutely nothing in that position. Anyway, it's a good theory, and I think I'd like to think of this machine as being made in India. It's a good story from the transfer and from the wood. I think there is a good evidence to suggest that that could well be the case. And it's an interesting machine anyway, one I'm definitely going to keep. And that's an extra little bit of the story as far as I know. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Mr. RG Stuff. Thank you.